Investigators are trying to determine why a bridge collapsed this morning in Pittsburgh.
The collapse happened hours before President Biden's visit to the city to speak about the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which includes bridge maintenance. The bridge collapsed just before 7 this morning on a major artery many motorists use as a detour. Rescuers had to rappel nearly 150 feet in icy conditions, while others formed a human chain to save people from a city bus.
Officials say thankfully no one died, but 10 people were hurt. 3 of those victims were sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It's still unclear if anyone was under the bridge at the time of the collapse. It also caused a gas leak, but officials say the gas has since been shut off and people who were evacuated have returned to their homes. Joining us with more is Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. Good afternoon, Lieutenant Governor. We thank you for joining us. You're on
my pleasure.
Thank you. You're on the scene. You're on the scene of the collapse.
I am, yes.
We can see that. What can you tell us about what's happening right now?
Oh, right now, as you've said, it's still a crazy scene here where the bridge just spontaneously collapsed. Both ends of the span came down, and thankfully, well, first the emergency responders did a superb job, and they evacuated everyone that needed, and thankfully nobody was killed. But it's a surreal scene. This is a bridge that I drove on just yesterday. It's used by thousands of Pittsburghers to get in and about. It's a surreal scene to have a bridge that is just such a part of the daily life of so many that just randomly collapsed this morning.
And Lieutenant Governor, a bridge that's not that old either. The last inspection was in September of 2021, so just a few months ago. People are wondering what was the condition, how this could happen now.
Yeah, no one knows, and anything right now would just be speculation. But it really is, I think, Exhibit A through Z on just how critical the infrastructure funding through the bipartisan infrastructure bill is, and how necessary it is that we as a country have a really serious investigation on just what's needed and the resources that it's going to take to upgrade our infrastructure so we don't have these kind of circumstances happening to morning commuters. And we got lucky. Thankfully, the school system was on a 2-hour delay. Otherwise, it could have ended much more tragically than the catastrophe that it's already been.
Just knowing that, an assessment of all the other places that you see that the infrastructure bill could also help. I mean, have you done a detailed assessment of where this money could go?
Well, I mean, the American Society of Civil Engineers has given Pennsylvania's bridge a D- rating. I mean, that tells you everything. And we have thousands of bridges that are going to need to be upgraded here in Pennsylvania. And thankfully, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, Pennsylvania is on track to receive $1.6 billion towards replacing or upgrading and making those enhancements. I mean, President Biden delivered that, and we're certainly grateful, obviously. But today behind me is a wake-up call to anyone that questions how much is needed for infrastructure, not only in my state, but also all across the country.
You mentioned the president, and he was already scheduled to be in Pittsburgh today to discuss infrastructure. Before that, you had already said you had a scheduling conflict and would not be seeing him, had not planned on seeing him. He's only going to be about 5 miles away. Have you changed any of your plans so that you can be a part of this?
No, I'm actually on site, and we expect that we'll be seeing the president later, and absolutely.
So you will be going to see the president now?
Well, I'm here at the site of the bridge collapse, and that's what I anticipate. Yes.
Oh, you anticipate him coming
to the bridge collapse?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm staying at the bridge collapse. I've been here since shortly after it collapsed. I live close by, so that's where I'm going to be for sure.
Might not be a bad idea for the president.
For the president to visit, despite his previous plans to be.
I'm not speculating, but if he's coming to the bridge collapse, that's where I'll be for sure.
That's an invitation.
Right. I think it sounded like an invitation to him. I was merely asking if he's only going to be 5 miles away.
No, I mean I'm not in a position to invite anybody. I'm just saying, like that's where I'm staying. Here I've been here since shortly after.
But
So.
would it send a message, or what kind of message would it send if you were to go to where the president is speaking again, the importance of infrastructure and the money that a city like Pittsburgh, that is a city of bridges, needs? What type of message would that send in showing that support?
Well, I mean, he has my support, and that's not a question of going over there or not. But we had this bridge collapse, and it's like I said, over my shoulder is Exhibit A through Z on what anyone needs to just show the condition of our infrastructure in this country and just how much we need the investment in that. Absolutely.
And we'll leave it there. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, we thank you. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe out there.